December, the time of year we both love and kind of dread. It's the season of glow-up plans, big ambitions, and staring down at last year's list of New Year resolutions, wondering, what have I even been doing all year? You know the drill. That gym body goal? Yeah, that one didn't even make it past week 2 of January. The eat healthier plan, let's just say it didn't survive the New Year's Eve leftovers. And that whole meditate every day idea, pretty sure it just meditated itself right out of my life. We've all been there. Big hopes, big plans, and somehow by March, we're back to where we started. New Year's resolutions are a major source of anxiety for a lot of us. But why is it that a moment that should be for celebrations surrounded with so much anxiety and dread? The pressure of New Year's resolutions often stems from how heavy the words are rather than what they mean. They symbolize a declaration of change, a promise to ourselves that we will be better, smarter, healthier, or more successful. But here's the catch. When these goals are driven by societal expectations or unrealistic ideas, they stop being motivational and instead become overwhelming. We are bombarded with messages about self-improvement, especially at the end of the year. Social media feeds filled with images of people at the gym, advertisements promote New Year, New You products, and conversations with friends turn into a comparison of lofty ambitions. This external pressure can add on to our internal doubts. What if I can't keep up? What if I fail again? And after years and years of failure and asking, why do I even fail at achieving my New Year's resolutions? I have finally found the answers. One key point is that it's not because I lack willpower or desire, but the issue often lies in the way that I was setting up my goals. For example, setting unrealistic goals. Unless you have been living under a rock, you have likely heard the term glow up. From videos to blogs to podcasts, the message is clear. Become the best version of yourself. But many of these ideas are frankly unrealistic. You and me both are not going to achieve that gym body we've been dreaming of in a winter arc. And even if we tried, pushing ourselves beyond our limits would only lead to exhaustion and toxicity. Similarly, if I decide to meditate for 30 minutes daily when I have never meditated before, isn't impossible? But it's a goal that demands immense willpower and dedication, which often leads to me being burnt out and disappointed. Similarly, I have been making extremely vague goals. When we set goals like eat healthier or get in shape, we are seriously setting ourselves up for failure. Hey, I do have the intent of fulfilling these goals, but they are way too broad to provide clear direction. For example, what does eat healthier actually mean? Does it mean adding more vegetables to my meals, reducing sugar intake, or eating at home more often? I have no way to measure progress or know when I have succeeded because I haven't even defined the goal or how I'm gonna achieve it. All or nothing thinking. For the longest time, perfectionism has been my fuel, especially when making goals. When I used to miss one day of journaling or eat a slice of cake one time, I would instantly say that I have failed at achieving my goal and I'd try again next year. This mindset, where one misstep erases all progress, is a major reason why I have abandoned so many of my resolutions entirely. Now I know that it comes from an unrealistic expectation of perfection, where anything less than 100% feels like zero. But real change isn't about being flawless. It's about consistency and resilience, which we'll get back to later. Lack of connection to personal values. Oftentimes, resolutions fail because I become so focused on societal expectations or external validation rather than what my priorities are. I would choose goals based on what I thought I should do and not what genuinely resonates with me. For instance, making a goal of running a marathon might get me a lot of likes on social media, but I hate running, so the process will feel like a chore rather than a meaningful adventure. When our goals lack a deep connection to what we truly value, motivation dies quickly. To address this, I've started thinking about what genuinely matters to me. For example, instead of aiming to start a new hobby because it's trendy, I have started focusing on activities that I do enjoy. One thing I've learned is that resolutions should empower and excite us, not burden us with expectations that don't even align with our true selves. And finding that alignment is the key to sustainable goals that we can actually fulfill. Neglecting support systems. Imagine how cool I'd look if I pull up to a group event with a completely different me. I'd throw everyone off guard and become the highlight of the event, is what I tell myself before starting my goal and eventually failing at it. Why? Because change is hard, and going through it alone can make it even harder. We are inherently social creatures, and our environments play a significant role in shaping our behaviors. While it is technically possible to climb a mountain solo, having a guide or a group to cheer us on makes the journey far more manageable and enjoyable. Support systems could be friends or family who check in on my progress, an online community sharing similar goals, or even professional guidance like a coach or a therapist. These connections don't just offer accountability, they provide emotional encouragement, practical advice, and a reminder that I am not alone in my journey. Moreover, sharing my goals with others strengthens my commitment. When I voice my intentions out loud or write them down to share with someone, it creates a sense of responsibility. If you're hesitant to involve others, start small. Share your goal with one trusted person or join an anonymous online group. Hyperfixation on the goal. While striving to be a better version of yourself is an admirable pursuit, our social media has caused us to focus on the end result rather than the journey. When you become hyper-obsessed with achieving a specific outcome, the process itself often becomes irrelevant. You may find yourself so fixated on reaching the top of the mountain that you fail to appreciate how far you've already climbed. This push to achieve and achieve and achieve without affirming your progress can lead to burnout. It's easy to overlook small victories when all of your attention is on the finish line. And if you don't acknowledge your progress, you will feel frustrated or inadequate. Over time, the pressure to succeed might cause you to either abandon the goal entirely or switch to unhealthy habits like toxic self-motivation. Instead of focusing only on the outcome, shift your attention to the steps that you're taking along the way. Knowing all of this, here is how I will be making goals for 2025 that inspire rather than intimidate me. And since I'm not gatekeeping anything, I will also teach you to craft goals that are both meaningful and achievable. Goals that truly work for us as we move into 2025 and beyond. Focus on the why. This year, I'm gonna stop making goals that do not resonate with me. Before making a goal, I will ask myself, does this goal align with my values and what I genuinely want for myself? Goals that are rooted in personal meaning tend to resonate more deeply and are easier to stay committed to. For example, instead of saying that I'll journal every day because I want to be an it girl, I'll think about the benefits of journaling, how it'll help me brain dump, put my feelings into perspective, and help me achieve my goals. By visualizing these changes, I have shifted my mindset from external pressure to what I actually want for myself. Not only does this make me more willing to achieve my goal, but it also makes me feel more empowered. Start small and be specific. For this year, I will break down big goals into smaller, actionable steps. Broad resolutions like I'll save more money this year can feel overwhelming and vague. Instead, I will focus on making them precise and manageable. Think about it this way. Each small action is like laying a single brick to build a sturdy wall. Maybe you want to start exercising, but committing to an hour at the gym 5 days a week feels scary. Instead, start with 10-minute walks during lunch breaks or a quick stretch session before bed. These small, specific actions create momentum and allow you to build confidence in your ability to stick to the habit. To help me out, I'm also gonna start tracking my progress. If my resolution is to save money, I'll write down how much I have saved each week. Watching the numbers grow reinforces the value of my effort and keeps me motivated. The smaller and clearer the steps, the more achievable they feel and the more likely we are to keep going. Adopt a growth mindset. For me, one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that setbacks are not failures. They're opportunities to learn and grow. It's tempting to view every misstep as a sign that I'm not cut out for achieving my goals, but I have realized that progress is never linear. It's okay to have off days, to miss a workout, or to deviate from a plan. These moments don't erase the effort that I've already put in. Instead, they teach me how to adjust and keep going. For example, last year, I set a goal to read a book every month. By April, life got busy and I barely touched the book I'd picked out. I started feeling guilty, as if I'd failed the whole resolution, but then I reframed my mindset. What if this wasn't about meeting a rigid deadline, but about enjoying the process of reading? I let go of the monthly timeline and instead focused on carving out moments to read whenever I could, even if it was just a few pages before bed. By the end of the year, I had finished 9 books, not 12 like I had originally planned, but still had a meaningful accomplishment that felt good. So now I remind myself, setbacks are part of the progress. They're not roadblocks, they're detours that show me another way forward. Reward yourself along the way. I used to think rewards were only for achieving the final goal, but waiting until the finish line to celebrate often left me feeling discouraged during the journey. Now I build in small rewards to keep myself motivated. For example, when I committed to improving my time management skills, I treated myself to something small but meaningful for each milestone. After a week of successfully sticking to my daily schedule, I brought myself a new journal to track my progress. And after a month, I indulged in a weekend of guilt-free reading, a passion I often neglected because of a lack of time. I use this approach in other areas of my life too. Whether it's treating myself to a relaxing dinner after completing a challenging project, or giving myself a day off after reaching a key milestone, these intentional rewards help me stay focused and make the process of achieving my goals feel both enjoyable and sustainable. Find joy in the journey. I used to think that the only thing that mattered was reaching the goal. But over time, I have realized that the process itself can just be as rewarding, if not more so. When I set up a resolution to take a painting, I initially focused on improving my skills and creating something good. But as I spent more time with the brush, I discovered that the act of painting, the colors blending on the canvas, the quiet focus it required, was deeply fulfilling in its own right. It wasn't about creating a masterpiece, it was about finding joy in the process. Now, I approach all my resolutions with this mindset. Whether it's learning a new skill, building healthier habits, or pursuing a personal project, I remind myself to savor the journey. How I'm approaching 2025. Knowing all of this, I have decided to take a different approach to goal setting this year. Instead of making resolutions that feel like rigid, high-stake promises, I'm setting intentions that align with my values, honor my progress, and leave room for flexibility. For example, one of my intentions is to prioritize my mental health. Rather than declaring, I'm going to meditate for 30 minutes every single day, I am starting small. My goal is to simply pause for 5 minutes each day, take a few deep breaths, and check in with myself. Some days, I might feel inspired to meditate longer. Other days, I might not manage it at all, and that's okay. What matters to me is that I am creating space for mindfulness in a way that feels sustainable and meaningful. Another intention that I've set out is to move my body more, not because I should, but because it helps me feel strong and energized. Instead of committing to a specific workout routine, I am focusing on listening to my body and choosing activities I enjoy, like dancing, hiking, or stretching in the morning. This way, exercise feels like a celebration of what my body can do and what I want it to do, rather than a chore that I have to check off a list. And that's how I am approaching 2025, with grace, intention, and a focus on progress rather than perfection. By shifting my mindset and being kinder to myself, I'm not just setting goals, I'm creating habits that align with the life I want to live. Because at the end of the day, resolutions shouldn't feel like a punishment or a test of willpower. They should feel like an act of self-love, a way to invest in yourself, your well-being, and your happiness. So here's to a new year, not filled with impossible expectations, but with meaningful, intentional steps forward. Happy New Year, and sending love and serenity your way. Bye bye.